We'll take you inside the Scott County Emergency Operations Center, where officials are closely monitoring the threat of flooding.
Have a lot of rain already widespread over the region and a lot more to go. Look down toward the south and southwest. It's going to take some time to push this moisture on through. I'll show you when we do funnel it out and also how much to expect coming up.
I'm Jennifer Palumbo in Nashville, where it is game day and UK fans are getting ready to watch the Cats take on the Gators. We'll have complete coverage from Nashville coming up.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at Noon.
And good afternoon from WKYT News here on Game Day. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Barbara Bailey. Most of the bluegrass is seeing some rain this midday, and that's expected to continue as we head into the afternoon and evening hours.
Could be troublesome. WKYT meteorologist Micah Harris is live at our First Alert Weather Center to tell us how much rain we can expect and when it will finally stop. Micah?
Well, we're sitting there. Radar, and there's your look. And look, this is going to be a long time until we get a lot of this moisture on out of here. It's sitting back toward the south and southwest. That's moving toward the north and northeast. And you can see more than likely by tomorrow, that's when we'll push that stuff on out. Wet roadways, 40s, 50s right now. We'll finish off in the mid-50s when it's all said and done. Off into the night and into tomorrow, it just continues. There's a lot of activities going on in toward tomorrow. With the St. Patty's Day coming up, we have the parade, we have the 3K. I'll go over your latest forecast in just a few minutes.
Micah, thank you. Water levels are rising as this rain moves through the state. Officials in Scott County are monitoring flooding conditions on roads and near homes before deciding whether shelters will be needed to help those in need. WKYT's Mark Barber is in Georgetown with an update on the situation from emergency management. He continues our top story weather coverage at noon. Mark?
Officials with the Emergency Operations Center say depending on how much rain comes down, there could be flooding across the county. But they say they are most concerned about these 6 areas marked with the red tabs because they say they will most likely flood today. As the rain comes down, the threat of flooding goes up. Emergency Management Agency Major Michael Hannigan says the ground is already saturated, so the rain could lead to flooding very quickly. At Payne Avenue and North Broadway, the Elkhorn Creek is already starting to swell up onto its banks. Since the rain has been coming down steadily since 7:30 this morning, Hannigan says they have been taking callers who have spotted high water, and they have been monitoring their creek gauges as well as the radar. 1 inch to 3 inches of rain are expected to fall in Scott County. At 1 inch, Hannigan says some roads and low-lying areas will flood. He says if 3 inches fall, there could be major flooding on some roads and some houses could flood. He tells us it would be a long-term problem, and he's hoping the county can avoid it.
Definitely fingers crossed. After 2 major snowstorms and a flood, there's now possibility of a 4th disaster declaration. It's starting to pile up.
Hannigan says he's hoping they dodge a bullet this time, but he says if 3 inches of rain does come down, they will switch to response mode. He tells me that they could put up temporary shelters for people if they are no longer able to stay in their homes. In Scott County, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you. And we're told they'll start doing checks to make sure roads are still passable if heavy rain continues to fall. Well, the excitement is building. The Cats will open postseason play in less than an hour in their first game of the SEC tournament.
And Kentucky will be taking on a familiar foe in the Florida Gators. WKYT's Rob Bromley is live in Nashville with a preview of that big matchup. Hey, Rob.
Hello, Bill and Barb, and I'll tell you the story here in Nashville this morning has been rain, rain, go away, and right now, at least for the time being, it has. But I'll tell you, it is just an absolute sea of blue outside Bridgestone Arena right now because the postseason has finally arrived for the Kentucky Wildcats. It begins with a team that Wildcat fans are so familiar with, Florida. These two teams played just last weekend in Rupp Arena. The Cats broke open a close game with about 10 minutes to go and went on to complete an undefeated regular season. John Calipari expecting no easy time here this afternoon.
They're good. No, everybody's excited about playing us, and I would imagine they were because they played us good both games. But my teams, we had a great practice today, and I think they're ready to play basketball, and whoever it is, you know, they're capable of beating us, no question.
All right, the Cats and the Gators tip it off at 1 o'clock today on the SEC Network. But before the game begins, we will be right here with you live from just outside Bridgestone Arena. So stay with us for the entire hour. Brian Milam will be joining me at 12:30, and we will take you along right up to tip-off as the Cats take on the Gators. Right now, that's it from here in Nashville. Bill Barb, back to you.
All right, Rob, thank you very much. And as you could see behind Rob, the Big Blue Nation has taken over Nashville, eagerly awaiting tip-off of the Cats and Gators this afternoon. Fans are lining up and filing into Bridgestone Arena as they get ready to cheer Kentucky on to victory. And WKYT's Jennifer Palumbo is live now with some reaction with some familiar faces there in the Music City. Hey, Jennifer.
Hi, Bill. It is a sea of blue and white here outside Bridgestone Arena everywhere you look. And there's no doubt this will be the biggest crowd yet of the SEC tournament inside the arena. The Big Blue Nation has taken over Music City.
You know it. Number first line for KSR. Tin Roof, Broadway. Go Cats.
Game day started early for hundreds of UK fans at Tin Roof. They began lining up at 6 this morning for Kentucky Sports Radio's live broadcast.
We've just been hyped up. We've been building up for months and months. We've had this planned out, and we got here as early as possible. And almost first in line, so ready for the whole day, really.
Former Wildcat Jared Paulson is excited for his first SEC tournament as a fan.
This is really awesome. We came last night, and I was telling my friends, I usually come just as part of the team, but now I actually get to experience the culture of Nashville, so I'm enjoying it.
This is the most people I've ever seen at the SEC tournament. I mean, there are, I would say, 50,000 UK fans in Nashville, and yesterday at our show, 60% of them said they didn't have tickets, so it's going to be insane.
A lot of the fans outside the arena right now are standing in the rain, and it's not because they just want to stand out here. They're trying to score tickets. There are so many fans here, and this arena is smaller than Rupp, so a lot of these fans are just going to have to settle with watching the game in bars instead of Bridgestone Arena. At last check, lower level tickets, $600. That's it for now. Live in Nashville. We'll have more coming up in 12:30. Back to you in the studio.
Whopper of a ticket there. All right, thank you very much, Jennifer. Kentucky has won the SEC tournament a record 27 times, but the last time was in 2011. Well, a Western Kentucky church is showing some love for the Big Blue Nation. Not him. Former UK basketball player Cameron Mills tweeted this picture from Second Baptist Church in Hopkinsville. The pastor there put up cardboard cutouts of Rick Pitino and Christian Leitner in the back rows there, the back pews, a way to get people to sit closer to the front. In the front row is John Calipari in a spiffy UK blue cardigan. So that's a way to get folks to move around a little.
I think it worked. Well, even though much of the Big Blue Nation followed the Cats to Nashville, there's still plenty to do in Lexington this weekend. Those events could tie up downtown traffic, so detours will be in place for street closures. WKYT's Hillary Thornton gives us a rundown of what's happening and what areas you may want to avoid. Hillary.
Even though the Cats are out of town playing in the SEC tournament, there is still plenty to do back home here in downtown Lexington. On top of the city's annual St. Patrick's Day festivities, there's also several other events planned here around the Lexington Center. The busy weekend kicks off at 8 o'clock Saturday morning with the Shamrock Shuffle. The 3K is followed by the annual St. Patrick's Day Parade at 1 o'clock. And the festival goes on all day. Now, those events will cause some road closures in the area. In addition to those celebrating the luck of the Irish, about 14,000 people are expected at the Lexington Comic and Toy Convention. That event will take place throughout the weekend at the Lexington Convention Center. And as we mentioned earlier, with the Wildcats out of town at the SEC tournament, Disney on Ice takes over Rupp Arena with 6 performances scheduled throughout the weekend. Then just 1 block over from the Lexington Center at the Lexington Opera House, there will be 5 performances of Broadway Live's The Great Gatsby. A weekend lineup drawing a diverse crowd of thousands to the downtown area. It is a weekend that local business owners say they look forward to.
Thanks to the DLC and the mayor and people at Rupp Arena, and they've put it all together this weekend. This is kind of the perfect storm, so it's going to be big.
Now, if you do plan on being out here in the downtown area this weekend, officials ask that you pay close attention to those road closures and also arrive early to allow yourself some extra time to find parking. Lexington Center officials say they do expect the Rupp Arena lot on High Street to fill up pretty early on Saturday, but they do expect there to be some room in the back lot off of Manchester and West Main Street. In Lexington, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
And for details on those road closures, visit our website, WKYT.com.
Sure is good to have you with us on WKYT News. And coming next, police in Ferguson, Missouri are still trying to track down suspects after 2 officers were shot on Wednesday.
We'll have the latest on the manhunt next on Kentucky's #1 midday news.
And comedian Will Ferrell completes his barnstorming tour through spring training in Arizona. We'll show you his debut for the Cincinnati Reds. Coming up on WKYT News at noon.